Hello, my cutie patooties, and welcome to freaking. We are here live with my Twitch. Twitch, would you like to say hello to the YouTube gang? We are going to be listening to Avenged Sevenfold, and this is a song called Unbound, The Wild Ride. Literally, I was pulling this song up, and I went to put it full screen, and the first second, I didn't realize it started playing, and the first second is like, Dah! Just like, you jump into it, and I jump scared myself, and I was like, bah! So I'm sure we are going to have a wild ride. Before we jump into this, though, just a friendly reminder to please like and subscribe. And with that said, shall we get into it, my darlings? We all. I am a ding-dong sometimes, it is true. You are not wrong.
Things go as they should. It's hard to find, but that's alright. Yeah, yeah. Searching for the way.
I'm loving the piano in this.
Every day is deep inside that shining light. Yeah, yeah. But I'm scarred by barriers placed in my path.
My God. Okay. Freaking. Okay, so the layering that happens, freaking love it. His voice is already so, powerful that when you layer it, it just gives it kind of like this booming, just like as if like you go from like a room to like a stadium in a sense. It just like has this very, it really fills it in, even more than it already, it is already quite powerful, but it just creates that extra boom, freaking that kind of, he has a certain style and kind of like he adds kind of like this twang into stuff sometimes too. It's really interesting and it's very M Shadows, like if you just started playing this and I'd never heard it before, I would be like, that's Avenged Sevenfold, like that. I love what they're doing with the piano coming in with the guitar, and it's just like there's so much going on in this. Like the music, it's like when you listen to the piano, it's kind of like scaling up and scaling down. And then you have the guitar sometimes, having these big slides, and there's just so much like going on. Which I think, we're going to jump into the lyrics here, really applies because it's talking about life. Somewhere life is good and things go as they should. It's hard to find, but that's all right. Yeah. Yeah. Raquelin, you don't need to say, but that's all right. Yeah. Searching for the way, pushing harder every day. It's deep inside that shining light, but I'm scarred by barriers placed in my path. I'm scathed. This ride that takes me through life leads me into darkness, but emerges into light. No one can ever slow me down. I'll stay unbound. So, it's kind of talking about the ups and downs in life, the wink wink, wild ride of life, you could say. And the fact that he says, I'll stay unbound. So it's kind of like, I'm going to carve my own path. I'm going to lead with what I want to do with my life and not, be tied down to what people expect of me or want of me, etc. Which, I think there's obviously extremes that, can be, too much, when you go to one extreme and say you're completely unbound, but to the detriment of others, that's obviously not good. But like, if you just want to live your life and do the things you want to do and go after your passions and your dreams, and you're not, stomping on people to get there, I think it's a message that, we need to hear sometimes, because sometimes you get kind of kind of stuck in a spot, and you kind of fall into this like familiarity of it. And then it's like, this is not what I want to do. I am not happy. Like sometimes it's like we just put our head in the sand and then we're just like, we're here. So I think it's cool that it's like this ride that takes me through life, leads me into darkness, but emerges into light. So it's kind of like I'm, certain things might lead me down a bad path, but I'm gonna emerge into the light. And no one can slow me down from doing the things I want to do, But yeah, let's continue. Let me go back a little bit. Let me just go back a little bit.
Sometimes when we're young and always on the run, it gets so dark, and I know that place, yeah. So don't be too concerned, you got a lot to learn, well so do I, and we got plenty of time, yeah. Don't fall off the track yet, with so many races to go. Hold on, this ride that takes me through life leads me into darkness, but emerges into light. No one can ever slow me down. I'll stay unbound.
Okay, wait. Before we get into the next section, oh my god, things are switching. the I think it's the into the light. Like he kind of does this light. He does a lot of that. And same with the yeah. He kind of does this. It's very M Shadows. Like he does it quite frequently throughout different songs. And then just like especially in that chorus, the amount of like compression you hear with his voice, because it takes on like a quality of as if like he's almost yelling, but he's not, like he's singing, but it has this kind of raspy, breathy sound that just feels like, like you're climbing up a mountain and you're trying to reach the top kind of thing, and it has this urgency kind of sound to it. And I mean, he has, obviously his voice has a lot of, a lot of times he has that belty quality to it, but especially in the chorus of this one, I'm like, woo. That freaking compression is all the way through it, and it's just, it again has that sense of urgency. Looking at the second verse, sometimes when we're young and always on the run, it gets so dark, and I know that place. So don't be too concerned. You've got a lot to learn. Well, so do I. And we've got plenty of time. Don't fall off the track yet. There's so many races to go. Hold on. So kind of talking about, you know, like things can get dark in life, but, you know, you've got a lot to learn. But then it's also humbling. It's like, I still have a lot to learn. I'm an adult and I still have a lot to learn. Like, we always have things to learn in life. There's no stopping. You are always learning in life. And it's kind of like just being like, it's going to be okay. And then he says, don't fall off the track yet with so many races to go. So kind of like, don't give up now. Like, whatever it is you want, whether it's, you know, whether it's to reach a goal or to pursue a passion, there's going to be a lot of failures along the way. There's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be learning curves. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff, but it's kind of like, don't give up. Don't give up on that. Don't give up on it and settle. You know, it's kind of the feeling I get from that. 'Cause, you know, no one can ever slow me down. I'll stay unbound. That's in, you know, the chorus. And I think, you know, having another verse added to that kind of, it definitely feels like I'm not gonna settle, I think, is what I feel it's kind of saying, is like, I will continue to, you know, go after what I want and stand for what I believe in, or whatever it is, you know. And I'm gonna keep yearning for that, and I'm gonna keep, you know, working for that. I'm gonna keep striving for that. But let's continue. Oh, bringing in a freaking choir. Or maybe not even. Yeah, it's him with a choir, it sounds like. That's really cool. I dig it. Okay, this part is like making me think 80s. Oh my god. You can hear that heartbeat. I feel like that child represented like M's shadows as a child. There's nothing here to be taken for granted. With each breath that we take, the hands of time strip youth from our bodies, and we fade. Memories remain as time goes on. So just, you know, kind of just saying, like, don't take time for granted. Don't, you know, some live so wrong with what we do is each his own. So kind of being like, how everyone lives their life is the way that people live their lives. But living in fear and the shame for countless years, I never lived in fear. I knew I'd die another day. I never viewed my life as something slipping away. So kind of just having that reflection of like, time is fleeting and we should do our best to live our lives right and you know, chase after those dreams because we're only here once, you know? And time is always slipping by and, you know, you got to make the most of what you have. That was really cool how, you know, I guess that part where I was like, oh, there's a choir. And maybe it was the little boy singing with M Shadows, and that was kind of like the transitional period kind of thing. But that was really cool. I also want to just see something. Okay. I didn't know if this was like a thing, but you know, M Shadows is a founding member of Avenged Sevenfold. And that last portion definitely kind of gave me like an 80s vibe. And M Shadows was born in 1981. So I don't know if that was like an intentional correlation or not. Kind of like talking about, you know, living your life to the fullest and going after the things you want to do. And then having, you know, that transition where it goes from M Shadows to the child. I don't know if that was an intentional kind of like little 80s tip of the hat kind of thing. But regardless, that was, I'm going to make one more pun and it's going to be the same one and we can all cringe together. That was a wild ride. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my reaction to this. If you did, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you cutie patooties in the next one. Bye, y'all.